What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about 5 surefire signs, 5 avoidable signs that he can't hide. He can't hide these, okay? Signs that he's jealous, okay, and that he likes you. And this is going to give you all the intel you need to do whatever you want to do, girl. Now, just so you know, don't go out of your way to make a guy jealous. It's stupid. It's petty. It ain't worth it, but I know how you all are. You're going to do it anyway, so that's why I'm making this video. But if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Just click the red button below. I will love you forever. And if you want to work with yours truly and get my course, Attraction Academy, link is down in the description, okay? So jumping right into this, and a lot of this is going to touch on things I have taught before, but I'm going to go into detail on it or show you from a different perspective on why it's important and why it's almost avoidable or unavoidable, okay? And the first thing is that he changes his behavior due to the threat, okay? So changes due to the threat. Now, what I mean by threat, of course, as another man. But what's important to understand about this is you have to understand what jealousy is. It is a defense mechanism that is built in to keep us aware, so we acknowledge that there is a threat to the resource, or there's a threat to the assets that we got due to investing our resources, okay? Assets can be the things you offer. We talk about this all the time. It can be sex. It can be validation. It can be attention, ego boost, status boost. It can be you as an option. It can be having you and one other. It can be a million things, okay? But it's an asset overall, okay? It's an asset. And a man to get this asset, or he should at least, this is why I tell women just don't put out easily. If you want to, go ahead, but don't. But it should take resources to get these assets. It should take resources to get these assets. And let's just say you're a high value woman. Of course you are, right? High value woman, okay? If you are a high value woman with these assets, he should not want to give this up easily. Okay, he should not want to give this up easily. That's what's like when us dating coaches tell you like to work on yourself and to get a man to invest and to get a man to do this, or not that he's like you're entitled to his resources or anything like that, but a man should court you, of course, if he decides to court you. You're not entitled to his courtship. He has to choose to court you. But when he does, you need to strut your shit like, hey, I'm a high value woman. I have these assets, which he probably knows, which is why he's after them. And don't think of it as a transaction either, ladies. It's just like, hey, I like you, you like me. It should be reciprocal investment. He should be getting something out of it. You should be getting something out of it. But at the end of the day, if you guys negotiate or it turns into a courtship, he should be investing his resources in these assets, okay, of a high value woman. And when Johnny comes along, right? Johnny comes over here and he wants them too. Well, he don't want that guy's resources. He wants these assets. Well, now there's a challenge, okay? Guys do not like this challenge. Guys only like challenges they know they can win. This is a true saying too. We only like challenges we know, right, we can win. That's a very true thing. So there's a saying in the PUA community, or like maybe not PUA, but like when it comes to evolutionary psychology, where it's like I want to know that you're hard to get because, well, I want I want to know that you're hard to get because that makes it harder for other men to get you. But I want to be able to know I can get you, type of thing. But anyway, when you start making a guy jealous, he should, if he likes you, and we're going to go into later on what happens if he doesn't do this, he should change, right? He should change. He should want you. He should invest more resources to get you if he truly values you. But at the same time, that depends on the guy and the situation at hand. If you're doing it if you're just making him jealous to make him jealous, that's petty. No girl's worth that shit, okay? So that's number one. We're going to go into number two here. Number two, which is he becomes protective, okay, over these things. Now, that sounds like common sense, and that sounds a little bit like I said, or that sounds kind of, familiar with number one. But we're going to talk about why a guy becomes protective, okay? Because here's the thing, okay? There's assets, okay? And we know that you as the woman, okay, we'll draw your fine ass here. We'll draw you here. I don't know. Oh, you're missing some hair, girl. I don't know. But like you want something, right? Which is a man. Let's say you want a man, you want a relationship, you want marriage, you want a family, whatever it is, kids. I don't care what the hell you want. You want something, okay? To get these things, you have these. Okay, you offer men assets, just like a man offers you assets. But these assets, they're not just gonna. I mean, unless no guy wants you, they're just gonna sit up here. But they got to go to someone. They got to go to someone. If they're not going to him, they're going to him, right? I mean, that's just how it is. If they're not going to Pete, don't date a guy named Pete, by the way. They're going to Johnny. Okay, they're going to Johnny. So I need these. I want these. Okay, I want these because if I don't get them, that means he gets them. And we draw, that's a red. We're going to draw the red over here. That's a red. We don't like that. We don't want him to get them. So that's why guys sometimes like to stack. Okay, they like to stack and talk to multiple women. Some guys like variety. Some guys like just a quality woman. One quality woman. That's how it is, okay? That's how some people are. But at the end of the day, guys might become protective overall because it's assets they want. I want the assets. If I don't get it, this guy gets it. And I guess a better way to put that is what that means is advantages, okay? It's advantages. He has an advantage over me now. He has something, right? He checked that I don't. He has something that I don't. And it's not, and a lot of women are like, well, I mean, yeah, but you can get that from multiple people. That's true. But let's say you're making me jealous, though, and there's a reason I'm jealous. It's probably because I like you or I have the assets. If I have them, okay, and you're taking them away from me and you're giving them to him, that means something's, from an evolutionary perspective, why wouldn't a guy question that something's wrong? Unless, of course, he did something to deserve it, like he's a piece of shit or he cheated and you're not flying with that. Okay, but these assets are advantages. These assets are advantages, and if I'm not getting them, this guy is getting them, which means he has an advantage over me. And these things can be many things. So, for example, that go back to survival and I always talk about survival and reproduction. That's the goal of the organism. A guy, okay? So let's just name some of your assets here. Sex, which is kind of like self-explanatory. I mean, that's common sense. We'll put common sense, We'll say your looks. We'll say looks are one. I know this is objectifying, but bear with me here. Looks. That can be a status boost for the man. That can be an ego boost. Okay. Oh, that's not how you spell ego. Ego boost. Okay. That means fertile. That means you can be fertile. Better childbearing cues. Better childbearing. Okay, I mean, it could be a million things, but these are all things he's going to get because of your ass. Okay, you're a good-looking girl who, sex, reproduction, reproduce, looks, you could be a status boost. You could walk into a room and be like, dang, he got this girl. He must have something going. Okay? He must be the fucking shit. And usually it's a status thing. If he's a good guy who treats you well and he's nice and he's sweet, he has you hooked, you guys are talking, dating, and things like that, it raises his status when he pulls in a high value woman like that. And this guy over here is like, what the hell? I don't have that. So now there becomes this compare complex, okay? I know I'm all over the place here, but bear with me. Now there's a comparison complex. And this is where low ego, this is where the shit starts, where I feel like it doesn't start over one thing like this, but let's say a guy keeps on losing women, okay? Say he keeps on losing women to others. Or let's say he can't he can't keep a girl. Well, I guess I could say can't keep. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. He can't keep a girl. Can't satisfy her, okay? Satisfy. You can't satisfy. Whatever it is. When this happens time and time again, right, where I have these things and I lose them, Well, then I get this comparison complex. Shit starts to happen. The guy starts to freak the F out. That is a true thing, ladies. That is a true thing, okay? So, getting back out of this, we're going on to number 3. Let's say, starts to invest heavily or not at all. Now, I know you're probably familiar with that part right there, right? So, another sign a guy's jealous is that he invests heavily. That's pretty self-explanatory. We know that one. He just starts investing more because he's an idiot and he doesn't want to lose you. But a lot of you are like, yeah, okay, Elliot, I made him jealous, or I did this, or I did that, but now he's pulling away 100%. Why? Well, there's several reasons. We'll talk about this one first, which is not worth it. Not worth, okay, not worth the assets due to liabilities. Okay, meaning you're trying to make him jealous. He knows, fuck that shit. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth chasing. Why? Because making someone jealous is petty, which is why I tell women it may not work, which we'll get into in a little bit. But let's say it's not this one. Let's just say he's thinking, and it ain't worth the. Let's say he's thinking or putting this aside that it's not worth the assets. Well, what else could it be then? Other options are usually it has to do with ego, right? That's not how you spell ego. Goddamn. Ego and self-esteem is another thing. Okay? Has to do with ego and self-esteem. And that could be things like he wants validation. So that means pulls away. He pulls away hoping you chase. He could be very insecure and doesn't believe he can compete. It could be not, like I said, not worth. Like he's like I guess these things together can come down to here, and he's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'd rather just pull away and not invest the resources because I don't think I can compete for the girl. I'd rather just pull back and get validation and hope she comes back. If she does, then she does. Another thing is it could be a manipulation tactic, right? Sometimes a guy pulls away knowing you will return or hopes you return, and he's manipulating the situation. It can also be calling your bluff. It can be calling your bluff. Okay, there's a lot of reasons why a guy will pull away instead of stepping up. Okay, and those are just several ones. But like I said, usually it is a self-esteem and ego thing. If it's not this aspect, the idea of fuck, it's not even worth it. She's not even worth it. Okay. So that's number 3. Let me have to clear this up. We'll go into number 4, and I have it written down over here. He starts to play detective. Play detective. We kind of know this. This is common sense. He's asking questions, opening your stories, snooping on media, on social, asking friends, maybe becoming territorial. It could be many things, okay? He's becoming territorial, all that. It could be all those things. He's playing detective. And why? Because we hate curiosity. We hate curiosity. But why? Especially guys. But why? Why do you guys hate curiosity? Because women are too, but I think men are extremely more because men are the ones who chase. Men are the one who put themselves out there. Men are the one who come to the women. Not nowadays it's a little different. I think it could be 50-50. But from an evolutionary perspective, men are the ones who come to women, and they don't want to they want to avoid risk. They don't want to be turned down. So he plays detective. He wants to know who you're talking to, who you're talking to, where you been, still like him. Do you still like him? You still like him? Can you guys see this? Okay, like him. Do you still? Hey, he's going to be finding shit out. I guess doing these things. Okay, to realize these things over here. Okay, so playing detective, obviously common sense. But like I said, even if a guy doesn't play detective and he starts pulling away, It's an insecurity thing. In fact, I would say most of the time, maybe this one shouldn't be in here because you don't know if he's playing detective. He's gonna do that in his fucking bedroom. He's gonna do that fucking over here somewhere. You don't know, but it is a sign. It is a sign of playing detective. Why? Because I guess I can erase this. A concept that women don't understand. Playing detective, right? Playing detective. That's not how you spell detective. Detective is a sign of investment. He's investing his resources, okay? Maybe you don't know it, but he's investing his time, his energy, effort. He's just investing emotional aspects, okay? Like all these things. So that's why I always say playing detective. There's feelings involved, or fear of losing assets. Fear of losing assets. Okay, I know I'm fast and my writing's horrible, but I know you're understanding what I'm saying here. But yeah, I guess to sum it up, I'm beating a dead horse here. I always talk about playing detective because it is an investment of resources, right? Boom, 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 boom. But the question is, why is that? Well, because he's investing these things. That's why he cares, okay? And most of the time, if a guy's pulling away, he's pulling some bullshit, he's taking you for granted, it's probably fear of losing the assets, okay? Or what I call, again, an option. You're probably an option in that sense. Doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings. But if you look at the context previously and you're pulling away and you're trying to make him jealous because he's a piece of shit and he takes you for granted, or he's talking to some other girl, or he's just not committing, it's probably the assets, okay? Just to be real there. And of course, the last thing I have here is, obviously, I know you all deal with this. He tries to make you jealous. So one of the reasons I tell women to not make dudes jealous, because it's not even worth it, and I feel like women are way worse than men when it comes to this, is like people are just petty. And if I'm a man and I know, let's just say I like a light bulb goes on my head. How do I draw a light bulb? You guys know how to draw a light bulb? Oh, nasty. Okay, whatever. Let's just say you draw a light bulb. That's not a light bulb, but right, light bulb goes off in my head, and I know you're trying to make me jealous. I'm gonna try to make you jealous, 100%, and that just becomes petty as fuck for both of you. You're all petty as hell if that's the case. Okay, if I know you're making me jealous, well, I don't think it's petty for the guy. Actually, I think it's petty for the girl if she's trying to make him jealous. No, it's petty for him too. Because I'd be like, okay, she's trying to make me jealous. I would just go do my own thing. But that's kind of what I want to talk about. Where, again, ladies, it comes down to assets versus liabilities, okay? Now, let's go over this real fast. If he's already pulling away, or I don't know why you're trying to make him jealous. It has to be for a reason. There has to be a reason. Because if you're just doing it to do it, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You don't deserve this guy. That's stupid as hell. Yeah. That's stupid as hell. There has to be a reason why you're doing it. Just don't do it to do it. Even if there is a reason why you do it, it should be the last reason. Like, jealousy should be the last thing. It should be communication. It should be bringing up the situation and trying to find a solution, doing it a couple times and he doesn't get the hint. Then you're like, okay, you know what? We're just on different pages, homie. You can't do this. Of course, a realistic standard such as just consistency. Not I'm going to text you one day and then I'm going to stop talking to you for 5. No, like that's not okay. So you need to bring that shit up to a guy. And if he can't follow through with that, then you just need to go your separate ways. Just go your separate ways. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's just say you're going down the path of making him jealous. Okay? So obviously he did something wrong and you want to do this because of what? I don't know, ego. You need validation yourself. Validation. You want him to realize what he lost, which again kind of has to go with ego. Maybe you still like him. Whatever it is. Here's the thing about it. All these things make you outcome dependent. And again, going back to context, if he knows, or if he was pulling some bullshit anyway, such as taking you for granted or whatever it is, for, to get you to finally pull away, say, I'm done, but I'm going to get him, I'm going to make him regret it. And so you want to get revenge. He's already in that mindset of, I didn't really give a fuck, that's why I'm not committing to her, or we didn't progress towards anything, and we're not really talking now, and we're on bad terms. Okay, he must not give that much of a shit. He must not give that much of a shit. But you do, though, which is why you're doing that, which makes you outcome dependent. So if you're outcome dependent, and he's making you jealous, let's say he calls your bluff, and he's like, okay, watch this chick, watch this. It's going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt him. Trust me. And at the end of the day, it's going to be lose-lose, because it comes down to assets versus liabilities. I wouldn't chase you. I wouldn't chase you. I wouldn't bother with this. I would not bother with this, ladies, if I was him. I'd be like, hey, she's cool. She has some, but she's pulling this bullshit. So, no. Right? And I'm not saying he's in the right either. He should be, well, actually, no, he's not even in the wrong. If he's, is he's in the wrong by trying to make you jealous back, because that just makes him petty. But if he was taking you for granted, okay, he was taking you for granted. His loss. You need to leave. But women are like, nah, I need this motherfucker. I need this guy to realize what he lost. Bitch, you ain't nothing fucking special. Stop. Like, I hate to say that, ladies. You ain't something special. Okay? He's nothing special. Meaning, I know that sounds really harsh, but listen, ladies. He ain't anything special. Why are you trying to make him jealous? That just means you're putting such an emphasis on his opinion, on what he thinks, on what he sees, on what he values. He's a fucking nobody. He's a nobody. Who cares? But the fact that you're like, oh no, he needs to realize what he lost. Like, get that shit out of here. I don't know. I don't know what makes you think you stick out more than every other fucking girl, but maybe you can show me. I don't know. Okay, I know that's harsh, but that's the truth, ladies. So, with that being said, ladies, one more time, I have him written down over here. He's changing his behavior due to a threat. He's becoming protective and guards his assets. He invests heavily or not at all. He becomes aggressive or he plays detective, and he tries to make you jealous. Right? Everything I just said right here. So, with that being said, ladies, I love y'all. Take care, and peace.